Week 4 DraftKings NFL contest lineup for the Sunday main slate. The 10 a.m., 1 Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern games for Sunday. I have not looked, as always, at these DraftKings prices yet. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We are week 4, last week's contest lineup. We built 2, which we've been doing, building 2 different lineups and playing them both and seeing which one performs better. Last week we had a Caleb Williams based lineup and a Dak Prescott based lineup. We wanted pieces in that Cowboys-Bears game. And the Caleb Williams lineup did better than the Dak one. If you watched the game, you know why. Dak and the Cowboys did not have a great game. CD got injured early, didn't play the rest of the game, and therefore the Cowboys offense just wasn't good. The Caleb Williams lineup did do well, but not well enough to give us any sort of prize. So hopefully this week we can get back on track. Week 1, we didn't place in any of our contests for any cash. Week 2, we were able to get money in a cash lineup. Week 3, not. And now week 4, if our trend continues, we should be able to get back into that cash lineup prize. So kicking it off with the quarterback again, DraftKings, you have a 10-man lineup, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receiver, 1 tight end, flex, and a defense. $50K salary. Each player has their own salary. Obviously, if it's a high tier talent of a player, their salary is going to be higher than someone who doesn't see the field a lot. So how I like to build these lineups is kind of get a cheap tight end, cheap defense, and sometimes run a stack with the QB and wide receiver. I try and go cheap on QB. Now we know some news for this week, for this weekend's games. Jaden Daniels is obviously out. He is already marked out here, so Mariota will be getting the start. Baker Mayfield is questionable, but he is going to play. Looks like Purdy is back for the Niners. And I think that's it for that. For running backs, Chuba is going to play. These guys are going to play. I believe Jacory is going to play. So he did practice in full on Friday, so that looks good for him to play. At wide receiver, Mike Evans is obviously out with the hamstring. Devontae Adams was a non-participant Wednesday and Thursday, but got limited in on Friday, so he is on track to play. Godwin, he is expected to play. Godwin's expected to make his debut, but that's a little frightening of a start. His first game back from the big injury. I assume limited snaps and a good Philly defense, so he's not someone I would put into my lineup. McMillan is supposed to play. Pearsall, he is questionable. He didn't practice Wednesday. It looks like he got limited in the rest of the week, so if you wanted him in your lineup, obviously Terry McLaurin is out, so that's a good thing for Debo. And the tight end position, I don't think any big names are out. No. If Isaiah Likely did play, I mean, he's like a true questionable. He did practice in full on Friday, but he's a true questionable. He's a good cheap option at tight end to put in. So let's kick it off here. At the quarterback position, obviously Josh Allen, the most expensive. Josh Allen can go one of 2 ways. Josh Allen can have a great game against the Saints. The Saints are not going to be able to keep up with Buffalo. Buffalo, I believe, is going to win this game very easily. And Josh Allen could get the first 3 touchdowns and end up with a good fantasy day. Or James Cook could run in 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen could throw for 1, and then the day is over. And the defense could have a score, and then the day is over for the starters, and that's it. Josh Allen didn't have to do much when they beat the Jets by a lot in week 2, and he had a bad fantasy day. So if it were against a more competitive opponent, then I could consider Josh Allen, but not considering him in that matchup. Lamar Jackson, same thing. I feel like Baltimore KC is not really going to be a high scoring match. I feel like it's going to be a defensive matchup. Jane Daniels is also out. Jalen Hurts, I believe the same thing. I think Philly Tampa is going to be a defensive matchup. Goff at home against the Browns. The Browns defense is the number one statistical defense in the league. I do think the Lions will win, but I think the Browns defense aren't going to let them throw for 304 touchdowns. Mahomes, same deal. I don't like the matchup. Even though the Raven defense hasn't been playing the best, Mahomes just doesn't have the pieces to do well on offense. Could go Caleb Williams. He's only 5,800. He is the cheapest version I'll go with here at 5,800. Nearly 30 fantasy points, 29 last week, 18, and then 24. He has the rushing upside and the rushing floor. So 5,800 in a good matchup for Caleb Williams, I do like. You could go with Daniel Jones. You could ride with the Colts offense and how well they've been playing. They are in a bit of a tougher matchup against the Rams defense. He is on the road. Looking elsewhere here, if you have just a feeling that Geno Smith can get it done, that's fine, but that's not me. Could go Mariota, who whenever he fills in for Jaden Daniels, he has a usable fantasy day. And that looks like it's the end. You could throw in Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is starting. You could throw in Jackson Dart. There is no NFL film on him. Therefore, they don't know what's coming. He could come out and he could throw for 2 touchdowns and rush for 1 more. We don't know how the offense is going to look with him. 4,500 is super cheap for a quarterback. But right now, I'm leaning Caleb Williams. If we were to build a second lineup, you know what? I mean, what if we build a Dart lineup? What if we build a Dart? I don't recommend playing a lineup built around Dart. Well, let's go with our main lineup here. Let's go Caleb Williams at quarterback. A running back, I keep telling you guys, as long as McCaffrey is under 9K and 10K, he needs to be in your lineup. I know 8,500 is a lot, but as long as McCaffrey is under 9 and 10K, he's going to get there. Every week, his salary has risen, and I'm surprised he's not in the 9K range yet. I know the Jaguar defense is good, but I mean, look at this. 15 targets, 7 targets, 10 targets. And then he's getting the 15 plus touches as a running back. Nearly double-digit targets for receiving work. And he's getting 15 plus opportunities in the rushing work. He has to be in the lineup. Matchup proof. Moving on, I don't like Bijan. That Falcons offense just does not, until they figure it out, I'm not putting him in any cash lineups. Gibbs, like I said, I think the Lions are going to win the game, but I don't think it's going to be a Detroit offensive show out because the Browns defense is good. Saquon, the Tampa Bay run defense is really good. Yeah, he actually has been involved in the passing game more than I thought. Same with Derrick Henry. The KC defense is good at stopping the run. You could go Genty. You could throw in Genty at 6,200 and say, hey, this is the week going up against the Chicago defense. Genty has said he wants to be more involved. He wants more touches. Is this the week the rookie breaks out? We don't know. Someone you could throw in a cash lineup. I think I would most certainly throw him in if you were in the 5,700 range. But 6,200, I don't know. We already have 8,500 locked up with McCaffrey, so 6,200 is a little pricey for me there. Looking elsewhere here, Hampton all by himself at 5,900. I actually like that play a lot. I think Hampton is super cheap in a good matchup at 5,900. I like that play a lot. I'm actually gonna that Hampton's gonna go in the lineup, but let me just check out the rest of the roster here. Pollard could be a good play at 5,600. The Houston defense hasn't been the greatest against the run. I think they've allowed a rushing touchdown every week. I know the Giants have allowed a rushing touchdown every week. Have the Texans allowed a rushing touchdown every week? Yes, they have. Yes, they have. So Pollard could be a cheap play at 5,600. Cam Scatterboo, if you believe he's going to get a lot of the work and the offense is going to be good again with Dart, you could throw Scatterboo in there for 5,500. Elsewhere here, these are just going to be all the committee backups. Nothing special here. Yeah, I like the Omari and Hampton play a lot at 5,900. That's what I was talking about with the Genty. If Genty was around that price, he would be in my lineup, no doubt. But the 6,200 is a little pricey. I'm surprised Hampton at 5,900. It's a really good price. Moving on to receiver. I mean, Nakua is literally just a guaranteed, 10 catches? He had 15 targets, 11 catches, 9 targets, 8, 11, and 10. So, yeah, he's literally a guaranteed 25 points. So, you could start Nakua. That would bring our salary down to almost 20,000 with a lot of the roster still to go. So, it's a little too expensive for me there. Could go Egbuka, who's going to be by himself in that Tampa Bay game with no Mike Evans. I know Godwin is back, but he's going to be limited on snaps. Could go A.J. Brown. He had his bounce back game last week. And the Tampa Bay defense, one interesting about them, an interesting thing is their first 3 games, they've allowed the team they're facing their number 1 receiver to have a good game. Week 1, it was Drake London. Week 2, it was Nico Collins. And in week 3, it was Garrett Wilson. So, for the Eagles, that would be A.J. Brown. If A.J. Brown had another good game, he could. Now, we obviously have Caleb Williams in our lineup, so we want Odunze in there for the stack. Looking at the other prices, Debo's going to be all by himself with no Terry McLaurin. How much did he get targeted? He got targeted only 3 times last week with Mariota. I like his targets better when he plays with Jaden Daniels, so I'm not sure about that play. Ted McMillan against the New England defense. I know he's questionable, but I think it's more of a precautionary questionable. He's going to have around that double-digit target mark. Purdy is back, so you can go with the Pearsall. Demarcus Robinson is back off of his suspension. So he could be a sneaky cheap play. I'm curious to see what his price is in this. Moving down here. Olave is a target machine right now. He seems like he's just an easy double-digit points for your lineup. Maybe he gets into the end zone this week at 5,100 is super cheap for a guy that's getting 14, 10, and 12 targets. Is Juwan going to play? He's questionable. Okay. Ridley, no. Shaheed, another cheap play. Maybe he gets a deep touchdown. You hope that one of those Saints receivers can get like a garbage time touchdown for you. I want to see Demarcus Robinson. What is his price? Because he could be right here, 3,500. You could add Demarcus Robinson in there with Pearsall questionable, Jennings, Juwan questionable, Demarcus Robinson. He always seems to just kind of get the job done. Jaguars' passing defense hasn't been the greatest. As you can see, they're 27th against receivers. Demarcus Robinson could be a cheap little flex play. So looking at our top guys here, I mean, Amon-Ra, obviously. But again, I think that Detroit game, it's going to be kind of like a 27-10 maybe. Like I don't see Detroit putting up 40 points. They obviously can, but I don't see them doing it. If Jackson Dart just targets Neighbors, Neighbors had a down game with 7 targets and just 2 catches. He had it down. Honestly, he hasn't been great aside from that Dallas matchup. We know why he was good there is because Dallas. So I'm not sure about Neighbors there. We know we want Odunze. We know we want... Who was it? Olave. Because he's cheap. That could allow us to spend up. So if we went Nakua, if we went Odunze, and then we went Olave, and then in the flex, we know we want Demarcus Robinson at what, 3,500? Well, we're going to try him out at least, right? We're going to try him out at 3,500. And then a cheap defense. I'm okay with the Tennessee defense. That Texans offensive line is so bad, so they could rack up the sacks. I'm okay with the Jags defense. They've been good. 12 points, 8 points, 11 points. But they are 200 more than Tennessee. The Carolina defense, they did have a good week last week, but I don't see it happening again. Yeah, no. You could spend up with the Bills defense. But I don't like spending up at defense because it rarely pays off. We can go with the Tennessee defense against that struggling Texans offense. I mean, their offensive line is so bad, so bad. We could slot in Tyler Warren here in the Rams matchup at 4,600. We could go Laporta. Hope he gets in the end zone. Looking elsewhere here. You could go one of the Browns tight ends, Njoku or Fannin. Like I said, Isaiah Likely, if we knew he was going to play, he'd be a nice cheap play. But we don't know he's going to play. Any great starts here for tight end? So I will throw out a name. Will Dissly is out. And Gadsden, Oronde Gadsden at 2,600 is a decent play this week. Oronde Gadsden had 7 targets, 5 for 46. You will take that on any week for a tight end. 7 targets for the tight end when Dissly was out. So Oronde Gadsden is a great, cheap DFS play here. A great DFS play. At just 2,600. If we were to spend up at tight end, obviously Bowers is the number 1 choice. But he's not really been playing the same since his injury. Would not play Travis Kelce. Even though he's getting the targets, he's just not it. I guess Tyler Warren here would be the play. He's leading the league in yards after the catch. Not just for tight ends, not just for rookies, for all pass catchers, wide receivers and tight ends. He's leading the league in yards after the catch. Could go Tyler Warren. Although I think the Rams defense has been shutting down tight ends. Week 2, they played who? Who did the Rams play week 2? Tennessee. What did Chig do against them? I mean, not bad. Not horrible. I'm kind of thinking Oronde Gadsden. I kind of want to throw in Oronde Gadsden. Now, that leaves us with 2,100 salary, and maybe that can have us upgrade our flex. We could throw in Pollard at 5,600. I would take the rest of our salary. You could have Jacoby Myers in that Raiders-Bears matchup. The Bears haven't been good against wide receivers. I know he's barely been involved the last week. Yeah. I think I mean, I'm not seeing anyone here where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love him in my lineup more than Demarcus Robinson at 3,500." Still gonna take a look here though. Could go Josh Downs in that matchup. He hasn't really been involved. Yeah. I mean, how much is so Pearsall's 5,700. I wish I knew if he's gonna play or not, because he'd be a good play. Demarcus Robinson's kind of like a hope he gets a touchdown guy. He can be involved as well. But yeah, I'm not seeing anybody else here that stands. Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard at 4,000. I mean, I know Godwin's gonna play, but no Mike Evans. Like Buka could be covered by the Eagles' top corner. He could be a decent play. Tyquan Thornton. I mean, he's been in Mr. Necessary for the Chiefs. See if he gets a deep touchdown against the Ravens defense that's been allowing a lot of big plays. He had 5 for 71 and a score, back-to-back weeks with a score. So Tyquan Thornton could be a cheap 4,000 play. Elsewhere here, yeah, Marcus Robinson. Yeah, I like Demarcus Robinson the best. Yeah. I mean, could play Taekwon, and then in the more expensive salaries, we could play Devonta Smith, could play Jacoby, or Pollard. I think we'll stick with Demarcus Robinson, at least with 2,100 salary. What do we do? I like Olave because the targets. I like Gadsden because he's a cheap tight end play. Do we just spend up at defense? I mean, did we go with the Houston defense? Like going up against Cam Ward and the Titans have looked terrible. Or do we go with the Buffalo defense and, you know, they've kind of had a bad game, good game, bad game. I wish I would know if they're. Let me check if their defensive starters are going to play. Let's see, NFL and scores. The Bills game. Injuries. Ed Oliver is out and Milano is out. Okay, those are the two important ones. Their defense plays better when they have those guys, so Not going to spend up with the Bills. You can play the Texans defense. That's still going to leave us with 1,000 of salary. Okay, if we don't play Gadsden, do we have enough money for like Bowers? No, we're 1,100 short for Bowers. How could we get Bowers in our lineup? How could we? No Nakua, but there's just no stud receivers that I would play over Nakua. They just don't exist this week. They really don't. I mean, it has to be Nakua. I mean, it has to be him. So, if we get rid of the Titans defense and we slot in a Tyler Warren. Okay, yeah. Okay. So what if we go cheaper at tight end? Like a Harold Fannin. Well, Njoku had 7 targets. So Njoku's targets are staying consistent. Fannin, sort of the same. Could play Hunter Henry, who's like good week, bad week, good week. Okay. Yeah, we could go Njoku. Are we able to get the Texans defense in? And no, we can't. We are 200 short on Njoku, 100 short on Fannin. But like I said, if we played Oronde, we do have 1,000 of salary. You know what? I wonder if we could play with this. Hold on. Let me see. So no DeMarcus. Gives us 4,500 to work with. How much is Pollard? 56. 4,500 to work with in the flex. And I don't like any of those guys. Yeah. Let's see here. Why is it stopped there for the flex? Doesn't go any cheaper than 4,000 for some reason. That's weird. Okay. Another like, oh, let's go around running back. Flex. There we go. So he's not been involved, or at least wasn't last week. Yeah, I'm not seeing much that I like here. I'm trying to find something. I just can't. Oh boy. I mean, it looks like it's gonna have to be DeMarcus Robinson. Just hope he gets some catches and gets in the end zone. But we just have 1,000 of salary left over, and I just hate to leave 1,000 salary. Who's 6,100 at receiver? Brian Thomas. Would you really play Brian Thomas over Olave, who's had double-digit targets every week? Could go Tet McMillan. Could go Ted McMillan. But that's just slotting in a player just to eat the salary. Okay. We'll just go, for the sake of me liking this lineup, we'll just go with the Tennessee defense, and then we will go with Tyler Warren. Now, these are the 100 salary left over. So this is the lineup. Caleb Williams, McCaffrey, Omarion, Kua, Odunze, Olave, Tyler Warren, Demarcus Robinson, and Titans defense. Now, just for fun, let's build a Jackson Dart lineup. I will not use a Jackson Dart lineup in cash play, but just for fun, we can build one. So Jackson Dart, running back. Let's not go McCaffrey here. Let's just go. Let's go with the Rams number 1 against running backs. Okay. Let's go James Cook because he's been so good, and let's go Genty. Let's say Genty. This is the breakout week. Receiver. Let's go. We can kind of spend up because we have Dart so cheap. Let's go. Let's go Nakua. Let's go Nakua again. Let's go AJ. And then let's go. We can go Odunze or we can go Ted McMillan. The New England passing defense has been bad. Yeah, we can go Ted McMillan. And then a super cheap flex. Who did we like that was super cheap at flex? I know it was Demarcus Robinson. Was there someone else? No, there wasn't. I know we were looking at Tyquan Thornton. Could throw him in at flex. And then we could throw in a Bowers. That leaves us with 2,200 for defense. And the Browns. So we're 100 short for the Titans defense. So instead of Ted McMillan, we could go. Or instead of AJ Brown, you could go Odunze. I do like AJ Brown this week. I do like him this week. We are 100 short. Let me see something real quick. So in the flex, if I throw in Omarion, and at tight end, we could throw in an Njoku. I'd be okay with that. So Jackson Dart, James Cook, Genty, Nakua, AJ, McMillan, Njoku, Hampton Titans. Could we throw in Bowers? And then we have 3,900 in our flex. Could throw in Io Manor, who scored in back-to-back weeks. Or just go with Demarcus Robinson again. Just have 400 salary left over. So yeah, this would be the Dart lineup. Like I said, I would not play this in cash plays. I like the Caleb lineup better. This one's not bad either. Let's throw up the Caleb lineup so you guys can see it one more time, just in case you want to copy it and play it yourself in some contests. We had Caleb, McCaffrey, we had Omarion, we had Nakua, Odunze, and Olave. And then at tight end, we had Tyler Warren. In our flex, we had the so cheap Marcus Robinson. And then we had the Tennessee defense. So that is the lineup that I will be playing in cash lineups. Hopefully, you guys use this lineup and do well, or use your own version of the lineups that we've been building today, and hopefully you win some prizes in your contests. That's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoy the games. I hope your fantasy teams do well. I hope your daily fantasy teams do well. And I will see you guys in the next one.